What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Nosebleed section. I'm your host, as always, Joe, and I am joined by my colleague, Benny. What's going on, Benji?
Well, it's good, man. How you doing?
I mean, unlike you, I didn't really bother to watch most of the game yesterday because I knew it was a foregone conclusion, so I'm a little better. But how you holding up?
No, I'm fine. Like I said, I'm numb at this point. But the only thing that got on my nerves is the fact that I couldn't get the other 75 yards of the touchdown that I needed to complete my parlay. That was it.
I don't know why you putting money on us, but uh,
Hey, man, listen. It seemed like a good bet. It will not happen again for the rest of the year. So
lesson learned. Oh man! So you guys can see this is the Giants midseason report. We've been gone for a couple weeks, but I mean, if you've been watching the Giants games, you really ain't missing much. We're gonna get into
what the fuck was there to talk about?
exactly, exactly. So we're gonna get into just the halfway point of the season. We're gonna talk about the game a little bit yesterday and where the Giants go from here. Um, as always, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you like, what you didn't like, thoughts on the episode, and everything else. Smash the like button, all those things. But yeah, let's get into it. So again, I didn't bother to watch most of yesterday because to me it was a foregone conclusion. And we were talking before we even got on that, you know, with Daniel Jones really at the helm, can't really expect to win a game. It's like it's because it's bad. It's really bad, and we're gonna get into everything that we were talking about beforehand. But I just from the defense getting completely gashed, giving up 81 yards rushing in the first quarter alone, not being able to get off the field, to just Daniel Jones seemingly getting worse and worse every week. I mean, was there any positive that you really took from the game? I mean, you have some rookies that are balling, and Drew Phillips and Tyler Nubin. So that I love. Tracy's balling, even though he had the costly fumble, but everybody's going to look at him for that, not just what he's been doing as a whole. But do you have any positive that you care to speak of on this game?
uh, positive, if you can call it that, the fact that Evan Neal came out there and had a semi okay type game or whatever. He wasn't good or great by any means or whatever, but like he went out there, he did his job. I did aside from like that one play that I called out early, well, when I called out to you before the shows when Jadavion Clowney basically took his hand and walked him back to Daniel Jones on the play. Like I didn't really see him throughout the entire game. His name wasn't called a whole lot and everything like that. And I saw more of the people around him, your Greg Van Rotens and stuff like that. They were the ones that were actually having the issues yesterday. So I can say Evan Neal may have been a positive yesterday, and considering like how much he's fallen out of favor with the fan base and everything, that's probably a really good thing for him. Um, let's see if he can go two in a row. Because as Bill Parcells used to say, you've done it one time in a row this time. Let's see what happens after that. Aside from that, I want to say, granted, it was like the most of the guys, most of his catches and everything came in like hurry up 2 minute type offenses and everything like that. So we're looking at a time when the defense is pretty much playing back or whatever. But Jalen Hyatt was good yesterday. He went out there and he caught. I think he caught 5 or 6 balls. I forgot to look up his statistics or whatever beforehand, but I know he caught a bunch of passes and stuff right before, towards the end of the. Huh?
4 for 39.
4 for 39. It seemed like he caught more than that. He did draw a massive pass interference penalty at the beginning of the game, but we just didn't do shit with it. But like I said, at the very least, like we've been sitting up here waiting for Hyatt to do something, anything, or whatever. And like I said, was shown that, like I said, he can go out there and run at least some type of routes or whatever. Don't that I'm hoping that the coaches staff actually saw that and they don't sit up there and just be like, all right, Darius Slayton's back. It's time for you to go out there and just run nothing but goes and deep posts.
Right. I mean, if we don't retain Darius, he's the next man up, and we're probably going to draft a receiver at probably in the mid to later rounds. But like Hyatt's going to be the next man up. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you're sitting up here in year 3 now with the guy, and you hope he can definitely give you something going into
Yeah,
year 3. But before we started, you were talking about a lot of different stats and figures.
yeah,
You care to get into that?
sure. All right, so I'm pretty sure everybody before the game started up or whatever, I'm pretty sure everybody had heard the matchup or whatever that nobody actually dubbed it this, but it was pretty much the toilet bowl which we were going up against because it was the worst offense, the worst scoring offense in the league versus the worst scoring defense in the league, and that was us versus the Carolina Panthers. And like I said, when it comes to like our offensive and our defensive rankings, they're not good. Um, so for anybody who is just, and I'm just saying this because of the fact that I know how Giants Twitter is, where they sit up there and they look at the quarterback and they're just like, oh well, it's all his fault. You change him and we're going to be perfect. Nah, that's not the case. Yeah, us getting another quarterback is going to take a huge step towards us improving as a franchise and improving as a team, but we still got work to do after that. So first and foremost, let's tackle the offense. All right, our completion percentage right now it looks okay-ish or whatever at 62.57%. But when you start to think that Daniel Jones throws most of his and completes most of his passes within like 5 to 10 yards, if that ain't impressive to me. All right, if you were talking that 62 plus and he was talking and he's doing like your your middle of the field, your what do they call that? Not I can't remember what's the intermediate passing. All right. When you're
Mm,
talking 15 to 20, maybe 25 yards down the field, if you're completing 62 or 63% of those passes, I'm happy. Asking for 62% of passes 30 yards and more that's insane. So I'm not even going to act like that.
I mean, I
But
wish.
that 15, that 10 to 25 yard range, if we're completing 60 something percent of those passes, I would be ecstatic. 5 to 10 yards or 1 to 10, fuck that. You should be completing like 80% of those. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Our yards per play, 4.8. We are ranked 28th in the NFL. All right. Now, granted, with the site that I got this from, I don't know if this was including yesterday, but possibly. Um, our third down percentage, we're converting 37.32% of our third downs. That is 20th in the NFL. Our red zone touchdown percentage, not actual like scoring, our red zone touchdown percentage is 39.29%. That is dead last, 32nd in the NFL. Our fourth down conversion percentage, pretty damn good, 63.16%. But that's 90% of the fact that we're sitting up there and we get up and it's like 4th and 1, and Daniel Jones is 6'5", 387 pounds, and we go do the tush push and we push him forward 8 yards every time we do this shit. So it's just like, but if that shit gets stopped, like what the fuck are we talking about, right?
Mm,
Points per game, 15.6. We are 31st in the NFL. If anybody had any questions about that, remember there are 32 teams in the NFL. That's not good, right? This ain't college. Being ranked 31st is not a decent thing. Yards per game, 309.7. That is 23rd in the NFL. All right. Everything on the offensive side of the ball is in like the bottom quarter of the league, with the exception of our third and our fourth down percentage, our conversion percentage. And even that, the third down percentage is still in like the bottom third. So like something needs to change. And we're not just talking about one or two players, right? there needs to be some type of a philosophy change within the coaching staff. The play calling, maybe, and now I'm sorry, maybe I need to apologize to Mike Kafka or whatever, because I was all over his ass before this, but it seems like this shit hasn't gotten any better with Brian Dable calling plays. But when it comes to the defense, like I said, it's still not a pretty story over on that side either. The opponent's completion percentage is damn near 70%. We are giving up 69.82% of passes. That is 30th in the NFL. And this is for a team that leads the league in sacks. So that means we're out there and we're putting pressure on these quarterbacks and everything like that. And they're still out there completing passes damn near 70% of the time. Something's got to change with that. You know, we have a young secondary or whatever, but y'all got to be better than that. That is insane and unacceptable. Third down conversion percentage, damn good. 34.15. That's what we're doing on defense. So we are ranked ninth in the NFL when it comes to giving that up. Opponents' yards per play, I didn't see what the ranking was for that, but it's 5.6 yards. But if you're giving up 5.6 yards per play, that's a not a touchdown. It's a first down, like every other play. So come on, you got to tighten that up, especially considering the fact that we've still given up, I want to say, 8 um, or 9 runs for over 20 yards this year. And that's just rushing yards. We're not talking about passes. So that shit has to get tightened up as well. And it's crazy as hell because we go out there as soon as Dexter Lawrence gets taken off the field, we're gashed everywhere. When he's on the field, it's only on the edges because guys aren't doing their jobs, filling their gaps, and all kinds of other stuff. When it comes to our linebackers, Bobby Okereke, he's got to do better. You got to fill those gaps. You got to trust that the guy's going to do his job, and you got to go do yours. When it comes to our secondary coming up to make tackles, you guys have got to want that shit. You can't half-ass it, right? Drew Phillips ain't out there half-assing shit. Tyler Newman, he'll throw himself at somebody every once in a while, but Dane Belton can't tackle for shit. And I got my beef with Deonte Banks. I want to hold off on it just because of a certain other Giants corner who did this exact same shit when he was younger, but then turned out to be pretty damn good. I think you remember his name, Joe, Corey Webster. But like I said, let me get back to this shit. Our red zone touchdown percentage is 46.43. That is a Shane Bowen thing. Bend but don't break. He doesn't give up many touchdowns or whatever. So if we're keeping our opponent's side of the end zone, less than 50% of the time, I'm happy with that. I'm not as happy with them being in the red zone as much as they get, but they're professional athletes. I can't sit up there and ask for perfection. This ain't Madden with the sliders turned all the way down.
That's been Bowen's thing. Like, that's what he's known for. He's known for giving them a lot of yards between the the 80 to 20 and 20, and then gets to the 20 and locks it down. And it's like,
it is the most annoying thing in the world. But so our opponent's points were
like stopping the run. So like, I don't get it.
Our opponent's points per game, they're 22.2 points per game. That's 15th, so we're right in the middle of the pack. Yards per game, 331.3. That is 17th. Again, right in the middle of the pack. And here is the killer for me. All right. Our third down percentage, which I went over before, we're ranked 9th in the NFL in stopping the opponent on third down, 34.15%. Our fourth down percentage, we're ranked 26th. We're giving up damn near 70% of fourth downs. Now, granted, part of that is, again, Philly and the tush push. But come on. What the hell? That's all I got as far as those stats and everything goes. It's just Jesus Christ.
I guess my question really is like, after this, embarrassing display, where does the team go from here? Like on multiple fronts, because obviously, everybody outside of like 2 people on X are calling for Daniel Jones to be gone. Everybody else that's a Giants fan is pretty much like, he shouldn't even come out after the bye. He shouldn't even be starting anymore. Like after this bye, he should be in street clothes as the emergency third quarterback, and we should be starting one of Luck or DeVito. But other than that, like, what is the other issue here? Like, is it like for roster wise? Like, because I mean, there's obviously there's certain holes, but like, it's like, what is it besides Daniel Jones that like needs, in your opinion, at least I guess we can start offensively, that needs to really be addressed because the offensive line, I mean, they're not top 10, but they're far and away better than last year. Like
Mm.
the offensive line was giving up damn near 7, 8 sacks a game. We're down to maybe like 2 to 3 a game, which I mean we still don't love, but you gave up like almost 100 sacks last year, and I
Hmm.
want to say we're around the 30 to 40 mark this year. So I
Hmm.
mean, like the offensive line, and there's obviously some 1 year fixes because GVR is a 1 year deal. Illuminor needs to be extended already because he's only on a 2 year deal. But
Yeah.
GVR is on a 1 year deal, so it's like that needs to be addressed for the long term. We saw Neil did a little something yesterday, so if he could actually keep that up, maybe there's something there for him. But again, he's in his 4th year. We're not going to extend him.
Well, he's not in
So
his fourth year
he's
yet.
in
This is
his
year
third,
3 for him.
his 3, but we're not going to extend him. Like he's not going to get that extension on his contract. That's way too much money for what he's
I don't
done.
even think he's gonna get. Yeah, I don't even think he's gonna get the option year.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to happen. So it's
Hmm.
like there's some needs on the offensive line that needs to be addressed, but like between Tyrone Tracy and behind you, Devin Singletary, who it could be is a great number 2 back in my opinion to have, but
Hmm.
he also makes him kind of look kind of expendable now, and he's being paid 3 years, $15 million to be your number 2, which isn't, I guess, terrible, but it's a little more that you want to pay for a number 2 back, but he's still only 26, 27 years old. So I mean, between
Hmm.
him and Tracy, I think your running backs can be pretty good. You have 3 good young receivers. You have 4 really with Slayton and Wandale, Neighbors, and Hyatt. You have a good tight end core. Like, is the offense? Is it really only Daniel Jones that's really the issue on the offense? Like
Not necessarily. Um,
player wise,
like I
like
said,
play calling wise, but personnel wise.
right, right. So my issue with our offense boils down to really three things. Um, Number one is obviously Daniel Jones. All right, Daniel Jones needs to be replaced. All right, but that's not going to happen right this second. That needs to happen in the draft. And with us currently sitting at number 2 in the draft, if that holds throughout the next 7 weeks, I'm not sorry, not next 7, next 8 weeks or whatever, then I'll be happy. All right, we'll be in position to draft our quarterback, whether that be Cam Ward, who you and I both want, or if it ends up being Shador, which, like I said, John wants, but I don't see happening, and I don't see as a good fit for this area, just
Mm-hmm.
because of like all of the extra baggage and everything that'll come with it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I, I immediately see him pulling the Eli on us, and like it coming full circle, and then we're the team that's the San Diego Chargers at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, what I will say is number 2 is our interior offensive line, and I say interior. I can't just say the interior. It's the interior and our tackle depth. So you have multiple spots to actually hit on the offensive line. I love Andrew Thomas and Illuminor together as our tackles or whatever. If you're going to upgrade at all, I can see us going out there trying to put an upgrade out there on the right tackle spot. If we could move Illuminor onto the inside or whatever, I would be happy with that. Um, John Michael Schmitz has to improve, which I'm hoping is good. Excuse me, I'm hoping is going to happen. He is only in his second year, and he has dealt with a bunch of injuries and stuff beforehand. So who's to know exactly how much that actually stunted his growth and everything. And this is his second offensive line coach that he's having to deal with. So
He had a
Again,
good
how
game
much?
yesterday.
Huh?
He had a good game yesterday.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like in total.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, as far as the interior offensive lineman, for me, he's been the best of the three of them. John Runyon has been like okay, and then like Van Roten has been okay, but he's also been subpar for what I've actually seen. All right,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to giving up pressure, when it's coming from the inside, it's normally off of Van Roten's side.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just him lacking or if that's him miscommunicating with JMS, or I don't know what the situation is. All I know is like 9 times out of 10, when I see it coming, it's coming from Daniel Jones's right side and it's
Mm-hmm.
right there in his face. Um,
Well, I know.
Other than that, like,
I'm not to cut you off, but I know Elu Illuminor played right guard at last year for the Raiders. So I mean, if there is a case of moving him inside and upgrading that right tackle position, like that's always a possibility. I mean, we did bring in DJ Humphrey for a visit, so
mhm.
there's definitely options out there between that and the draft. But like, I don't want to go with a premium pick on another right tackle, like to be
No,
go a
no.
second round pick on a right tackle.
Unless there is another Rashawn Slater coming out, I don't want to touch it.
Fair.
Um, and my thing is like when it comes to like the tackle depth or whatever, I get it. Andrew Thomas is special, all right, but there cannot. We have to find some way to keep there from being such a massive drop off from Andrew Thomas to everybody else. That gap has to be closed, and I ain't talking about lowering Thomas. It has to move up to his level. Now, whether that is finding the right guy in the draft, finding the right guy through free agency, whatever it is, that line needs to be supplemented with actual talent. Because Josh Azudu ain't it. Evan Neal, we're gonna have him on the roster for another year at the very least. But as has been so far, like in totality, he ain't it or whatever. And just about everybody else that's on the team ain't it when it comes to tackle depth. So we got to do something to improve that. And when it comes to the last thing, I know you pointed out the receivers as being a good young core, but to me, the receivers are also a problem.
Mm.
And I say that because of the fact that you have two of them that have sat up here and already developed a reputation for drops. You have one of them that has developed a reputation for only being able to run one style of route, and that is a deep speed route.
Mm.
Like I said, I'm hoping that he broke that, and I'm hoping that they trust him to try and do some other stuff. But these are the reputations and everything that they've had. And so when you get a situation where now it's looked at like, all right, the only real threat that we have to deal with is Malik Neighbors, the rookie that's sitting over there that does make rookie mistakes and all kinds of other stuff. Guy's not perfect. Now we can either cover this dude with our number two and then double him with a safety over the top, or we can sit up there and throw our number one on him and just see if the rookie can handle being blanketed all game long.
Mm.
So when there's no other threat, and I'm not saying that to downplay a guy like Slayton. I'm not trying to downplay Wandale. I fucking love Wandale Robinson. Same thing with Jalen Hyatt. Like, come on. The other team is looking at us like, all right, the only person that we have to think about as a threat is number one. So we got to figure out a way to actually improve that side. And like I sat up here, I know it's a pipe dream. All right. Absolutely know it's a pipe dream. No way we would ever get this dude on the team. But I sat up there and I keep throwing out Terry McLaurin thing. Like I would love to see him like paired up with Malik Neighbors as our one and our two.
Mm.
I would absolutely love that. I know it's a pipe dream. It's probably more likely for Neighbors to end up down in Washington, but but like,
Terrible.
but But the thing is, it's just like we have to do something. And I'm like, I haven't had the opportunity to look up the free agents list coming up for this off season. But as it stands right now, if we I believe if we designate Daniel Jones as a post June 1st cut, we'll end up with like close to like we're projected to end up with like $70 million in cap space. All right. And if that's the case, we don't have a whole lot of different positions and everything that need to be brought back. We
Mhm.
got a lot of people that are young guys in positions and stuff like that. Like our secondary is like crazy young. Um, our receiving core is incredibly young, and that doesn't necessarily mean like like our only free agent there is Slayton, or the only free agent of note there is Slayton. And the
Yeah,
question is, are we going to bring him back or not, or can we upgrade?
yeah. I
All
mean,
your like there's nothing crazy. We got all just about everybody that needs to be locked up right now is locked up. So you got the option to be out there spending that money and bringing in talent. The only question is like, what's the talent? Because I haven't seen it.
uh, I mean, for me, as far as the offensive goes, I do agree on the offensive line points. Um, like I said before, GVR's on a 1 year, and I mean, we did a good job of bringing in a lot of interior offensive line talent this past free agency, but we didn't bring in really any tackles or anything. And that's like you said, we need to find somebody to be that quality swing tackle type, or just to be that right tackle, and then you can bump Illuminor down the right guard, and that fixes holes. I mean, yes, Daniel's the biggest problem. Look, I've been saying it since before the season started. I said it in season. To me, in my opinion, and I still will say it now, we need to let Daniel go. You need to let Locke go. Locke's only on a 1 year deal anyway. And I'm
Mhm.
telling you now, I would have did it last year, and I still would do it this year. I'd go get Justin Fields. That's what I would have did. Even if you name him QB1 for now. The same thing with Russell Wilson. We could have had Russell Wilson. I know you don't care for that or anything, but the fact that you could have had him, you're
I'm
telling me.
actually I'm actually warming up to that.
But you
If
can't.
it's just a 1 year thing,
But he's on a
if
2 year
it's just
deal
a
now. He's on a 2 year deal now with the Steelers. So it's not really a
uh,
feasible thing now. My thing was if you would have had him, the only reason he didn't come to us because we didn't say he was starting. That
yeah,
was it. We brought him in and said you'd have to beat out Daniel. And he was like, I have to beat that out. Like, come on. And they were saying if we're like we can't literally sit here and be like we would be 2-8 if we had Russell starting quarterback instead of Daniel Jones. There's no way in
no,
hell.
we wouldn't.
No way in
We
hell.
wouldn't.
We'd be sitting there.
Although wasn't Russell Wilson hurt for half of the year?
He was hurt for like the first 3 games, 4 games. Yes,
Mm.
you would have started Daniel, and even then, we were what? What were we 2-3 first 5 games of the year, something like that? Were we 2-3 the first five
Yeah,
games?
we were 2-3.
You could have been 2-3 and then put Russell in at 2-3. We wouldn't be 2-8. We wouldn't be on a 5 game losing streak. I'll tell you that much.
No.
We would have been 4-6, maybe 5-5. We wouldn't be having these conversations right now.
Mm-mm.
But like now, I'm looking at next year. Like you said, you let Daniel go, you let DeVito go. I'm going to go get Justin Fields, and I'm going to draft a quarterback. And I'm telling Fields the same way that they did Kirk Cousins and Penix. I'm getting you. I'm going to go get Cam Ward, and I'm
Let
going
me
to.
let me interject real quick.
Mm,
All right, so I managed to pull it up. I'm looking at the wide receivers right now. Okay, so we have a crazy mix of people, and
don't
I can already
look at
see.
don't look at T Higgins.
I'm already looking at one person right here that I'm almost certain that if Brian Dable and Joe Shane are still with the team, they're 1,000% going to go after, and it's Zay Jones.
It's Zay Jones. You said.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. I think they're gonna go after him. Um, like I said, this. there's three names on this list. I'm absolutely certain they're just completely out of the question. And you named one of them already, and that was T. Higgins.
That
Um,
happened.
the other two are Stephon Diggs and Keenan Allen.
Really? Diggs is on a
Yep,
1 year deal.
I'm looking at it right now. He's an unrestricted free agent.
I know he's on a 1 year deal. Keenan
Yeah,
Allen. I wouldn't mind Keenan. I wouldn't mind Keenan Allen on a 1 year deal.
I'm looking at Keenan Allen at 32 and a half years old, making $20 million, and I'm not with it.
It depends on it. I mean, price is always the main thing,
Yeah,
but that's always the main thing. But I'm not getting him no 20 mil. But
I'm gonna give you one right here. I know he's injured right now, but I would be looking at Chris Godwin.
yeah, I wouldn't mind that either. I wouldn't mind that either, and especially on a 1 year prove it.
Mm-hmm.
Like for somebody who wants to go out and try to prove that he could be a receiver one or at least a 1B type. I mean, he was a two. He's a two with the Bucks, but
Mm-hmm.
he's a good receiver. I wouldn't mind that either. He's a Penn State guy. I love
He's a
that.
dangerous two. He's still a dangerous two.
Yes, he is. I wouldn't mind that at
Uh,
all. Only thing it does
so,
is
so
only problem is it pushes Hyatt back down to a 4.
yeah.
And that's the only
Other notable some other notable names out there: Amari Cooper, which I don't see him leaving Buffalo. I don't think they're going to let him go. Um,
hurt.
Deontay Johnson down in Baltimore.
That
DeAndre
dude,
Hopkins is still on a 1 year.
that dude Deontay's being a head case because he got traded to Baltimore and he started flipping the shit and he got benched and now he's pissed and wants to get a trade. He wants to get traded from Baltimore now.
Yeah, that one we don't need that shit.
No, nope.
Uh, and to be completely honest with you, that looks like it might be it. I'm not seeing anybody else on here that's like really jumping out at me as somebody that I would be bringing in here to be an upgrade over Darius Slayton.
I would, like I said, I would like Godwin, but it depends on the money. I'd like
Mm-hmm.
Keenan, but it depends on the money. But I also don't want to sacrifice potential and Jalen Hyatt to go get a 32, probably going to be 33-year-old Keenan Allen and push him back down the board.
Yep.
Um, it would be nice for them to all learn from Keenan Allen or even Godwin. That would be nice. That would be
Mm-hmm.
a really good look. Um, tight ends wise, we're fine tight end wise to me. Um,
I do too. I think we're
I
good
would,
there.
I think we're good there. I would bring back Manhurts on another 1 year deal. I probably would do that. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's helped out a lot in the run game, and he actually proves to be a good receiver too. Um, like I said, the running backs I have no issue with. I would be interested in bringing another running back in, probably maybe even like late round of the draft, just somebody to push Eric Gray because he's done nothing really, or even in the middle rounds
Right.
if you feel that Devin Singletary is expendable now. If he's on a 3 year $15 million deal, but if you can get out of that deal and get some money back from it, and you can go back in the fourth round and go get a fifth round even and get a running back and pair him with Tracy and Gray and have a good young running back core for you know a fraction of the price you paid Devin Singletary, I wouldn't be mad at that either. Like we talked about before you started,
Mm.
the first round for me is my board is very small. I have 3 people I'm looking at in the first round. Now, like we said, we're probably gonna get to now. It all depends on how the season ends, and this is the
Mm-hmm.
double-edged sword that we were talking about. It's what do you want? Pick your poison. Do you want to continue to play Daniel Jones? Because if you continue to play Daniel Jones, which to me, I for the life of me cannot watch if we continue to play him because you know the result. You know the piss poor play. You know you're more than likely going to lose the game. He's going to screw the game over at some point. He's just good for it. Now the thing is, do you keep playing him and almost damn near guarantee you a loss? But there's the issue of his injury clause. If the guy gets hurt, we're on the hook for $23 million in injury guarantee money. But if we lose out, there's a good chance we're at pick 1. You get your pick of Shador or Cam Ward. Now we all can kind of figure out why we don't want Shador Sanders coming here. Much as you might love his game and everything, might be a biased thing. Deion Sanders already stated he doesn't want his son coming to the New York Giants. Shadur's first personality does not fit. In the chaos, the media storm that would ensue from them coming, or even us trying to draft him, Deion would be like you said, we ain't going there. Not Shador's not
Yep.
going. We ain't going there, which would lead to a draft day trade of us have to trade him somewhere else and lose whatever. Not worth it. Not worth it at all. That
Now, the only thing that I would say about that is if we end up in a scenario where we know that the Raiders can possibly, or even the Browns, would be willing to do it. Like, I don't think Dion would want to go out to Cleveland either, but like, it is what it is. I'm just throwing the name out there as another team that could possibly need a quarterback. But if we were in a position where let's just say Vegas, we draft Shador and we trust Vegas to take Cam Ward and we do the pick swap like we did with the Chargers for Eli and Phillip Rivers, that's
Mhm.
the only way I could see us actually taking them if there's an agreed upon trade
Yeah,
between the two of us.
yeah, that would be fine. Like if that's fine. But if we're sitting up there at pick one and we have our pick of either, just take Cam Ward. Like it's
Hell
not
no,
even
just take Cam Ward.
just take Cam Ward. Like I'm I'm not risking anything like that. I'm not risking going off and trying to pick up Shador and talk to them. Now I know the Giants assistant GM Brandon Brown's been in Colorado a lot, and you also don't forget Travis Hunter's out there, so
Hmm.
it's a Shador thing. Like I said before, if we are at pick one because DJ lost out, whatever, blah blah. To me, the pick is obvious. You take Cam Ward. The other side of that pick your poison though, and this is what I is which sucks because it's what I want to see, but I'm going to be scared of the results. Is you sit DJ because he needs to be done. That game should have been his last time ever suiting up as a Giant. He needs to be done for the rest of the season. Make him the third quarterback, inactive emergency QB. You go in with Locke and you go in with DeVito. Your only issue is you put DeVito in, there's a chance that man's going to go off and lead you to victories. And now I get
Hmm.
it, the whole what kind of Giants fan are you? What kind of this and that are you that you can't sit up here and you're not going to cheer for your team, bro? We're 2-8. Now unless you're telling me DeVito's going to sit up here and be our franchise guy and go off and win the next 7 games and we go 9-8 and make the playoffs and go on a big Super Bowl run, then by all means, lead us to the promised land. But if you're going to sit up here and win us 4 games and we're going to go 6-11 and be picked 9 and miss out on quarterbacks again, and now we're going to lose. We'll move on from Daniel. We're going to move on from Locke. Now you're talking about, oh, you got to trade up, trade the farm, trade the farm. Now you're trading picks that you need to keep building onto that roster. Now you're showing that pick 9, you've missed out on both quarterbacks. Unless you trade up, you missed out on Shador. I mean, you missed out on Travis Hunter. You missed out on all the other people. Now you're at 9, and how many Giants people are going to be happy? We go off and get another offensive lineman. How many people will be happy with that? Like you're gonna have some people that are gonna be like, oh yeah, built the line, but like, how much more are you gonna see here? And like we've talked about before, we've been spoiled by this by quarterback play with Eli Manning the past 15 years, whatever. How long are we gonna sit here and continue to watch bad quarterback play? And you're gonna just be content with it because we're building the rest of the team. How long are you gonna be content with that? I'm just saying. We all want to go off and win the Super Bowls, but we all also want the first overall pick in the draft to get a franchise quarterback. You cannot have both. This is not Madden. So I mean, my thing is you go get Cam, and if somehow, some way you miss out on both quarterbacks, my board's 2 people in the first round. It's Mason Graham, and you put him next to Dexter Lawrence, and you fix that run block, that run defense, or you go get Travis Hunter. And either you put him on offense as a weapon or you put him as corner number 1 and you put Deontay Banks as corner number 2. I'm not taking any other quarterback in the first round. I'm literally not. Nussmeier just showed his ass why he's not a first round pick. Carson Beck went from the best ranked quarterback in the draft to the seventh ranked quarterback in the draft, and now has a third round grade on him. And I just don't see it with Jalen Milroe. Quinn Ewers to me is not a first round guy. As much of a Penn State fan as I am, Drew Allard is not a first round guy. So unless you're okay building the rest of the team and having another shit season and then pick one in 2026, you go get Arch Manning. Unless that's what
I
you
was just
want.
about to. I was just about to say that Quinn Ewers isn't even the best quarterback on his team.
I'm just saying, like, if that's unless you want to build the rest of the team, hey, now you could do that. Go build the rest of the team, and it goes back to what I said. Sign Justin Fields.
But you're gonna have to. I mean, you are going to have to accept another losing season, and I don't know how much this fan base is going to be able to take that.
That's what I'm
When
saying.
yeah, because my thing is just like I was having this conversation at the chiropractor the other day. All right, the one of like the main guys in there, like the chiropractor himself, he's a Giants fan. But one of the main guys that handles a lot of financial stuff, he's a Cowboys fan. He's actually a decent Cowboys fan, though. He's not one of them crazy ones that sits up there, throwing shit all over the place, talking about we them boys and all this other nonsense. He's good. But we were talking, and he actually presented me the question. He was just like, if in fact we're not in position to get a quarterback this year, what would I do? And I'm just like, there's really not that many options you can actually go to. Jameis, maybe. If you're just talking about, huh?
I'd have traded for DTR before Jameis, but that's just me.
I'm just saying, I would think if you're going DTR, I would think that you'd be looking at DTR for long term. I'm just looking for a bridge to get to Arch, if that's the case. I think what you would have to do in that case is to get yourself a bridge quarterback. Make sure that they understand that they are a bridge quarterback and they are not here for the long term. And when it comes to this draft, I don't care what you do, you have to trade back, and you have to get yourself draft capital for 2025 or 2026. That's the only way that this mess would actually work.
You know what you do? You build up the rest of the team through free agency in the draft, and then you sign Ryan Tannehill. If that's what you really want.
I mean, yeah.
Get you a bridge quarterback. That's what you really want. He's been sitting there a whole year of not playing football. Like, he's literally the best quarterback available right now in free agency.
Yeah. I have a crazy idea for you. I don't know how you would like this or whatever.
I'll probably
But I don't know if you would hate it or not. Just because of the fact that, like, I haven't really been paying attention to this dude, so I don't know how he's been playing. Mm-hmm. But guess whose free agent year is coming up? It's a certain person that was in that same class that Andrew Thomas came out in.
Quarterback?
No, tackle.
Oh, who?
Jedrick Wills.
The Browns not letting him go.
I'm saying I'm not seeing an extension on this dude. I'm looking at Spot Track right now. He's showing us a UFA.
They didn't extend him yet. He's a first round pick. They don't have it up there yet. They probably won't. The Browns didn't let him go.
I'm just saying.
You're not going to let go of one of the better young tackles in the league and talk about we need a franchise quarterback. Like, that's asinine. I mean, the Browns aren't asinine, but I'm just saying the Browns make some bad decisions, but you can't be that bad, can you?
I'm just saying. Could you imagine it? You get that man, you bring him in here, and you put him over at right tackle, and you kick Luminor inside?
Yeah, it'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. Yeah, it's one problem. One problem, so I'm still gonna
solve that shit right there.
Like,
only other thing is, like, I'm trying to see who just plays, like, who can play either side of it. Because I'm looking and I see, of course, I see Cam Robinson up here, but he's exclusively a left tackle. And like right now, he's like the highest paid left tackle that's available, and I'm not messing with that.
Nah, there's no lineman that we should bring in that makes more than Andrew Thomas. Like that don't make
No,
sense. And Andrew's out for season, which sucks. But like, there's not a lineman that you should sign because I feel like Wills is gonna would command some stupid number. I'm like,
he's
mm-mm.
probably going to command around the same. It depends on which side he's on.
He probably don't play the right. I think he's the right tackle now, ain't he? Unless I'm thinking
I
of
don't know.
worse.
It's just he's just listed as tackle. So
Ain't
I'm not
worse
sure
out there
like what he
too?
is. Nah, I guess Tristan Wirfs got extended.
Hmm. I don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't mind like we went through position wise. Like interior, we got some good pieces. We'll figure it out with GVR and Illuminor bumping him in or whatever. To me, it's just the glaring thing of the quarterback. Again, like I say, next year, if you want a bridge for a year or two, and you're ready to potentially have a down year, go sign Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Go build the rest of the team. Like you're just saying, we're gonna have $70+ million. I'm not saying go blow all 70, but do what we did this year. Bring in some good complementary pieces in free agency. Go build some young. Go get more core premium picks in the draft. Go sign Tannehill and be like, look, you're the bridge guy. We're gonna need you for 2 years. We're gonna try to bring a quarterback in 2026 to sit behind you. And this is you got Neighbors, Hyatt, Wandale, potentially Godwin. You got two solid tight ends. You got 6'6" Theo. You got Belly. You got Manhurts. You got Tracy. You got another run back behind them. Like offensive lines rebuilt. The
Hmm.
keys are yours. Like the keys are yours.
And I mean, you do that, and you put. I'm just going to go out there and say you put Arch Manning in a situation where he's coming in and he's set up probably better than Eli was.
Yeah, he's a better roster than Eli did. A much better roster. And I mean, you're gonna sit up here and you're gonna bring Arch in. You're gonna probably have to extend like Wandale. You're gonna have to get that Aziz contract done. I mean, not Aziz. You're gonna have to get the KT contract done, stuff like that. But
Hmm.
like you have Arch on a rookie deal, and you're gonna have everybody else that you got to lock up. But
Yeah.
like my main thing, like like as crazy as it sounds, I'm not really worried about anything else on the offensive side of the ball besides the quarterback position. Like I'm really not. Like receiver, I would like to, like you said, Godwin coming off an injury on a 1 year deal, prove it, be healthy, be a position leader, a veteran to teach Neighbors, Wandale, and Hyatt. You're an
Hmm.
upgrade potentially over Slayton. That'd be great. Tight ends, I'm happy with.
Yeah.
Offensive line is not amazing, but nowhere near as bad as it was last year. But you brought
Right.
in Con Basillo. You brought in pieces that know him and know his system and his way of teaching, and it showed improvement. Like Daniel Jones has had time in the pocket this year. He sat back and he still
He
kept up,
just.
but that's just on
Yeah.
him. Like can't
Hmm.
sit up here and blame the offensive line where he's sitting there in a clean umbrella pocket and just still throws picks. Like that's not on the line. Nobody's. They said like the Raiders when they brought Priscilla in. You look at the Raiders stats; they were in the bottom of the league, and he brought them to like 16, 17, 18th, which is where around where we are. We're not the worst in the
Hmm.
league. We're not the best, but it showed a lot of progression. But when your quarterback's just ass, like it don't matter how long I give you. I can give you 4 seconds and give you 10 seconds. You're still gonna throw a pick. You're gonna throw a damn pick. Like
Hmm.
that's what I said before we got on the field, or got on this stream. At some point, it just becomes negligent on the coaches because one, Gettleman, two, Shane and Dave's, and everybody else that's involved. At some point, it becomes negligent because you decided to keep trotting this kid out every day and every week for the past 6 years. You gave him a contract extension. A kid who had the problem of not being able to make anticipatory throws in college. It's one of his weaknesses. through 6 years in the league, or for the first 4 years of the league, he showed no progression. He cannot throw anticipatory throws. He cannot throw receivers open. He has to wait to see them open. And by that time, it's too late in the NFL. Once you throw them while they're open, somebody's coming to make them not open again. You have to throw them open. You have to make anticipatory throws. It's like the flea flicker
Yep.
we were talking about. You can't ask somebody who can't make anticipatory throws to make anticipatory throws. I can't do this. Why do you keep asking me to do something that I can't do? I'm not the guy for it. Well, just do it. I can't. Operate this crane. I don't know how to. Just operate it. How do I operate it? Just do it. I can't do it. Well, just do it. It's just like you're negligent as a boss because you keep telling me to do something and I can't do it. Every other quarterback in the league would have got the flea flicker and just thrown it because you know where you're supposed to be. Throw it to the sideline. Even the Tracy pick at the end of the game.
Yeah, that was horrible placement.
It's
And not only that, there was two things
37.
wrong with that play.
It's
There was two
37.
things wrong with that play.
It's 3rd and 7, and you threw a 2-yard out, which would have not got you the first down. Neighbors is one-on-one, and man, he's supposed to be your star number 1 receiver. Inside slant.
That's part. Like I said, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem.
If you
And I forgot who.
and you drafted him, then throw him, give him the chance.
I forgot who it was that said it. They said they didn't know who was wrong in that situation, whether it was Neighbors or whether it was Dayball. But that slant was there and it wasn't run. So they don't. I don't know what the situation was there in that one. But and no, it was who the fuck said it? I think it was Tiki Barber. I forgot. I was listening to so much shit over the last day. But yeah, I think it was Tiki Barber. He was just like that. Neighbors, honestly, on that play wasn't an option because when Daniel Jones threw the ball, this dude was still looking away. He wasn't even looking like he wasn't even trying to break.
No.
So I'm like, I don't know what happened there. But I called that out when that play started. When I saw the way Carolina was lined up, I was like, they're bringing everybody on this play. And the slant is wide open. But the thing is, it is not just that play. It isn't just that play. They keep doing this shit. I'm sitting up here and I'm looking. It's 3rd and 6. The defender is like 4 yards off of the ball or whatever, right? He's not jamming our guy. He's like 4 or 5 yards off of the ball. The safety is 20 yards down the field, and I see one linebacker in the middle of the field. What's wide open? The slant's wide open. Why is it not being run?
I'm like, my thing is, even if that was supposed to be a slant to Neighbors, and Neighbors didn't throw the slant, first off, it was I don't care what else anybody threw. Daniel Jones had that in his mind. He was throwing to Tracy the entire time.
Yeah, that's the bullshit. And I'm like, he's not excused for that. No. I'm just saying, like, I'm looking from like the play design thing too, and I'm just like all right, you know he's ass, but why the fuck aren't you giving him what he needs in this situation? If he fucks it up then he has no excuse.
But I'm like, yo, like, even if, like, I don't, first off, again, to go back, it's 3rd and 7. Why are you throwing a 2-yard out to make it 4th and 5? What is that doing for you?
And I hate trying to rationalize this shit, but this is literally just how my mind works. He's gonna break a tackle.
No,
that's all. I know. Trust me, I know. But that's literally like if I'm in that situation and I'm making that decision, that's probably why I'm making that decision because I think Tracy's gonna make that. He's gonna break a tackle, and we're gonna get yak.
Josie Jewell was all over him. There was no separation,
and he fucked up and threw it back shoulder instead of putting the ball out in front of him.
Like, and then you hike the ball and you see the linebacker is running step for step with your running back. You know the situation. You're down 3 points with 4 minutes to go in the game. You're on the team's 15-yard line. The last thing you can afford to do is turn the ball over. Your running back and the linebacker is not open. The linebacker is with him step for step. I don't care if you throw the ball. I don't care if you throw the ball out. It was still either one. Why are you throwing it there? You just look. It's not open. Either you run up the middle or you just fall. If they were throwing an all-out
Yeah,
blitz,
you take the sack.
and then
You
it's
take the sack.
17-17. And
Mm-hmm.
then when you go down, you stop them. Now you're going down to drive to score to win the game instead of going to overtime. But do you have no situational awareness? You're on their 17-yard line. Like, with 4 minutes to go, you're down 3. The last thing you could do is try to force a ball where it's not going to fit. You know you've been inaccurate all day. But you want to throw that? Like, where's the common sense? Hike. Oh, it's not there. Let me just run up the middle for 3-4 yards. 4th and 4. Chip shot field goal straight down the uprights. Now we make a stop.
And
Now it's
and,
17.
and considering the way Daniel Jones been running motherfuckers over for the last couple of weeks, what if
Like,
that 4th and 4 or that 3 or 4 yard gain that you're expecting to get turns into 7?
like, I'm like, are you just stupid? Like, I don't get it. I don't get like what he thinks. I don't get it. And it's like that's why I was like, I'm not watching this shit. I'm not watching this shit because it's a foregone conclusion. It's a foregone conclusion. At some point, oh, Dan, he's not. He doesn't. The kid doesn't look too bad today. He's moving the ball down the field. He's making some passes. He's doing this. He'll fuck up. At some point, you just know with him, there's going to be something. And that these past couple weeks, it's been at the worst possible time. So I was like, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna waste my Sunday. I'm not gonna wake up at 9:30 and watch this game and be annoyed the rest of the damn day. For what? Yo, you like, yeah, Tracy fumbled in the first play of overtime. It sucks. He was having a great game. I'm not putting that loss on him. Game should have never,
absolutely not.
game should have never been that close. Should have
No.
blew them out. Like should have blew them out. One man was just terribly inaccurate the entire game. The entire game. I'm like, yo, where is your common sense? You don't have it. Clearly, you don't. Like, you can't step up in a pocket and just run for a couple yards. My man is the most fearless runner with the ball ever, but the most timid bitch of a quarterback I've ever seen.
Yeah, when it comes to actually throwing the damn ball, he is.
You'll put your shoulder down and run over linebackers all game long. But then you're back in the pocket and you can't throw the ball to save your life. Like,
And you know what the saddest part is? You you're probably too young to remember this or whatever, but the comparison is especially considering the school that they come from. It's the same damn thing. He reminds me of Dave Brown. And honestly, for what it's worth, that's actually one of the reasons why I can sit through this or whatever, because I've sat through it before. Now, granted, I'm a little more cognizant of what I'm looking at now and what needs to change and all kinds of other stuff. I'm not just completely blind to the fact that, the Giants aren't the fucking best team in the NFL.
I'll tell you what.
But like,
I'll tell you what. I got two things. If these dudes somehow, some way trot Daniel Jones out next year, the whole staff needs to be fired. That's one.
next year,
Yes. If somehow this dude is still here next year, the whole staff needs to go. And Shane Dave's gone. Other thing, second part. So like this is why I was like procrastinating doing this. It gets me so annoyed, yo. if Joe Shane is thinking, even for a second, to go draft, because he's been at Notre Dame games, if he's thinking even for a second to go draft Riley Leonard, he needs to be fired. He needs to be fired immediately. Immediately, because you're looking at a carbon copy of Daniel Jones.
that's
Quarterback.
that's my guy.
Quarterback can't throw, but will run a motherfucker over.
Yep.
If you, for 1 second, Joe Shane, are thinking of drafting Riley Leonard at any point, you need to be fired
Yo, because that man was seriously doing the number on us last year when we played fucking Duke. This dude was at like one leg and he was killing us. Yeah.
Carbon copy. He can't throw. But maybe over here 5 for 12 with 79 yards passing and 200 yards rushing on the ground, 2 touchdowns.
Yo,
That man is a carbon copy of Daniel Jones. Don't you dare touch Riley Leonard. I swear. You have, to me, you have Ward, you have Nuss, or you have Allar, or you get Ewers. But those three are not first round picks. In the first round, if you have the chance, you go get Cam Ward.
and I'm looking at it and I'm just like, I'm just not a fan of the idea of Nussmeier. I just don't like him. Like maybe if I like get some more like if I do some more research on him, but like I saw him play a couple of times this year and he was just it wasn't even erratic, it was just bad decision making.
That's his
And I was
biggest.
just
That's his biggest.
yeah, I did not like his decision making, and I'm just like I don't need that anymore. Like, we already got a quarterback who makes bad decisions. Like I've seen that.
He's got a huge. He's not huge, but he's got a good arm,
Hmm.
and he can make some throws. But he's like you said, like when it comes to like in the clutch and making those plays, like he just makes bad decisions. Like he did him. He showed his ass on Saturday against Alabama. Like he went and got killed
Hmm.
against Alabama. Like he made some nice throws from the pocket and on the run. I'll give him that. But like there are too many times where they were having good drives and some play he made just straight killed him. Like
Hmm.
it's just I'm not touching Nuss before like the third. Not at this point. Unless that dude turns his whole rest of this season around, which ain't a lot left. I ain't touching Nuss. Listen, this
Yeah.
quarterback draft it's like we were talking about with Andrew Thomas. You got two up here and the rest are like down here. Like
Yeah.
you got Cam, you got how about this one? I don't think he'll ever be a franchise guy, but very similar to an older guy who knows the game, who's been around in this college football for a long time now. You could probably think of what I'm going with this or who I'm thinking about. Maybe you aren't, but he's playing where Bo Nix came from last year. Not in the first.
I'm legitimately drawing a blank right now. Where the fuck was Bo Nix last year?
Oregon.
Oregon? Uh,
Dylan
Dylan
Gabriel.
Gabriel? Huh.
What if you took him in the mid rounds as more of like a Jordan Travis type? And I mean the kid's about 24 years old. He's efficient,
Hmm.
got a big arm, good decision maker. I don't know if he's ever going to be a franchise guy. I want to say he's about 24, 25 already. He's literally just got the record for most touchdown passes in college football history. I think he has like 180 touchdown passes for his career.
Hmm.
I'm not a first round pick, but I think that could be a guy who can come in, quick to pick it up, older guy, more mature, going to learn the system, and he'll make the throws and he'll be decisive with the ball. He won't put it in danger. He don't do it now in college. He hasn't for his whole career.
I mean, if we're not in a position to go and get our guy like a Cam Ward or something like that, I wouldn't be mad with going with a project and then bringing in a guy to try and coach him up like as a player coach type guy or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So if we bring in a Ryan Tannehill or something like that and have him just teach him the ways of the NFL and see if we can build him into a potential franchise guy, I wouldn't be against that. I'm like my brain was all over the place because I'm looking at free agent corners right now.
Because I don't think he's gonna be drafted before the 5th or 6th round. If I'm being honest,
Mm-hmm.
like good character
Wait a minute,
guy, highly efficient.
isn't Oregon ranked like number one right now?
Yeah, number one in the nation. Mm-hmm. but I don't have Dylan. I
You
don't.
you you don't think that's going to drive him up a bit?
No, not really. I think
Mm,
I think he's a very good college quarterback. He's very efficient. Again, I think he has a good arm. I don't say a big arm, like I said before. I'll have to retract that. I don't think it's a big arm. It's a good arm. He's only thing
mm,
to me. He's a little undersized. I think he's like 5'11", 6 foot. Um, I think I got to pull numbers up on him, but
mm.
I would
In
take
the
him.
meantime, I was about to say, in the meantime, while you're trying to bring that up, I got my eye on one of these free agent corners that's really going to piss off a couple of people that we know, but might actually happen, especially considering the fact that like they just got rid of their coach. So who the fuck knows what's going to happen going forward?
What are you talking about? The
DJ Reed.
DJ Reed.
Uh huh.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all. How old is this dude?
DJ Reed, 28.
No, Dylan Gabriel.
Oh, 35.
Probably. Probably. He's old. He's an older
That
guy.
guy has 180 fucking touchdown passes in college. He's been around for a while.
I'm saying he went. He's been in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years in college football.
Damn.
3 years
So
at
that's
UCF. 3 years at UCF. 2 at Oklahoma, and 1 at Oregon.
yeah. He probably had some type of a COVID exemption.
Yeah, and then he hit a COVID exemption, and he also was hurt in 2021.
Uh,
He's got 17,000 yards passing for his career.
this man isn't even a red shirt anymore. He's like a crimson shirt.
How old is this dude? Uh, is he married? Is he really married? Dylan Gabriel. He's 23.
He's 23.
He's 23.
He been in what the hell? He get to college at 16? The fuck?
He's 23, and he will be 24 this year.
Mm.
It's similar to Bo Nix. Bo Nix, I believe, is 24, 20. I think Bo Nix is 24 right now.
Well, Jaden Daniels is what, 25 already, right?
Hell no.
You sure? I know he was coming out older.
Bo Nix is. Jaden Daniels is 23.
No,
Bo
I
Nix
don't know.
is
I could have sworn.
24. Also, only that kills me about freaking Tyrone Tracy. He's older.
I ain't worried about that. Tracy doesn't have that much mileage on him.
No, he doesn't. But still, dude's I think he's almost 25 already.
Yeah, I think he is. All right, yo, let me run this through you real quick.
He's 24. He's 24. He turns 25 in 12 days, in November 23rd.
Nice. Hopefully, he gets 12 touchdowns over that span of time.
I think if he breaks a couple more 100-yard games, the dude has a 1,000-yard season potentially.
He's already over 500.
Yeah, I know. And we got what, 7 games left?
Yeah,
7. Yeah. That dude can have a
he's
1,000-yard.
already over 500. Yo, like shout out to Tyrone Tracy, man.
And he
Like I
has
said, the one
first.
issue that I have, the one issue that I have with him is that him and the guys like him and Isaiah Pacheco make the running back position expendable. Like just their existence, the fact that they came in and did what they did, it makes it seem like a lot less impressive when you get a guy who's done it his entire college and high school career coming out into the NFL, and then it makes it more easy for these guys to sit up there and just be like, oh fuck it, I ain't gonna pay you. Let's go get another dude, some jackass who was playing wide receiver last year and converted over to running back.
I mean, that's the thing. Like everybody's like, oh, we didn't pay Saquon the 38 mil. It's like, yeah, but we got a running back or a rookie running back who had 545 yards rushing. Like,
Yeah, like
in like 6 games. He didn't play in the first two really.
Yeah.
Like,
Like I said, my biggest thing is like imagine if we had both of them motherfuckers. But like,
oh, I know. We wouldn't have
Jesus
that.
Lord.
No, I know. My thing is with that, then it's like, who even knows if we draft Tracy?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I probably still would have. They drafted Eric Gray with Saquon back there, so
yeah, I know, and I don't really know why.
because they ain't had no plans of bringing him back. That's why.
Like,
Um,
done shit.
but check this out. This is what I'm looking at. All right, free agent corners. All right, and I'm just going down the list. They're listed by their they're listed in order by their AAV. All right, so top of the list is Carlton Davis from Detroit. He's 27, about to be 28. All right, I don't see them getting rid of him.
Uh-uh.
Travarius Ward, absolutely not. He is not leaving San Francisco. He is 29, getting ready to turn 30. All right.
Mm-hmm.
DJ Reed is a possibility, like I said, just because of the fact that they're going to be like they're changing coaching staffs or whatever. You don't know what this next coach is going to bring in. You don't know if he's going to fit the system, yada yada yada, all of this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm skipping over Byron Jonathan Jones because he's 31 or whatever, and I want a younger guy. Byron Murphy out of Minnesota. I don't know what they're planning on doing with him. I haven't done a whole lot of work on that, but I'm looking at 26, about to turn 27. Jeff Okuda, I know he's had some issues and things like that. He's down in Houston right now. He's about to turn 26 years old.
The fact that they just
Um,
treated him when we all thought he was like the clear cut Lions #1 was a little surprising.
yeah.
But
And then the rest of these guys I'm looking at are 30, 30, 34. Uh, Dante Jackson, 29. I don't know anything about him.
the corner
Shaq
Panthers.
Shaq Griffin is a free agent. Trey White, who we were probably should have brought in last year or this year, he's a free agent again because they only brought him in on a 1 year.
They brought
So there's some,
the Rams signed him and then they traded him.
yeah, he's showing in Baltimore right now.
Yeah, the Rams traded him to Baltimore because they signed him and they didn't play him.
I don't know why you'd even do that. But the rest of these guys, like after that, like I don't see anybody on here that I would actually bring in or anything, unless we want to fuck around and bring Corey Ballantyne back.
I mean, fuck him. Hell no.
Yeah.
Like the defense is, to me, the defense is a little. I won't say it's more complex than the offense to me because the offense to me it literally is like. I mean, you look at the Commanders, like they brought in pieces around, like they built up the line some, they brought some running backs and whatever, but like once you had Jaden, everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
Once you brought Jaden Daniels, everything changed. And then they started getting momentum, then they started winning, and then they started bringing more pieces in it. Then they went and traded for Marshawn Lattimore. And like that's like the snowball effect of what a quarterback with a good quarterback play can do. Like so it's like regardless of who else we go out and get, like the quarterback play
with him though, like my biggest thing with talking about Jaden Daniels, and I'm not trying to downplay the effect of bringing in another quarterback, but we also got to remember that Washington's entire regime changed this year.
Yeah.
Everything changed. I mean, like from ownership down. So it's just like that's something that I don't think we can really just quantify just the quarterback there. And I'm not trying to sit there and like downplay that whatsoever, but it's just like that's a situation that's a little bit different to me. I don't know if I can just I don't know if I can put that I don't know if I can include that in this.
It was you're right though, because it was different. It would have been it wouldn't have been as good as it is if the same ownership group was there, the same Ron Rivera and that whole thing was there. So that is a good point. It's a whole different culture, regime, and everything. But I mean, it's tough because it's still like the defense to me. I feel is a little more complex because there's different parts. Like on the offensive side of the ball, bringing in one of these receivers like Godwin would be nice, but it's not like a mandatory thing.
Mhm.
Quarterback mandatory. Potentially getting a lineman to a tackle that you could slide Elu in to guard and this and that is nice, but again, you can still plug a right guard in on a multi-year deal and be good.
Right.
These are they're
Mhm.
very straightforward. Like defensive side of the ball to me, you gotta extend KT. You gotta find other quality depth defensive or edge players
I'm
because
looking at two right now. They're a
because
little. They might be a little pricey, but I'm looking at two right now.
because you can't sit here and have the drop off that we've had. Like between KT, Burns, Aziz probably isn't coming back because if Aziz can put together a 9 to 10 sack year, he's not coming back. Like,
He's gonna be the Bryce Huff of this class.
yes, because he's going to be 25 off a 10 sack season. And I mean, if from the business side, and you're a Giants fan or you're Shane or whatever, you just kind of hope it's like okay, you did it once, prove you could do it again. And that's going to be the biggest selling point or the biggest negative. Like, okay, you had a 10 sack season, you're 25. But look at your past 2 years before that. Your rookie season, you had a great year. The next 2 years, you struggled mightily with injuries and everything, inconsistencies. You embraced, and again, we can look at his past 2 games now. Now that KT isn't there, and Aziz isn't the change of pace guy, Aziz is the full time guy now. Now Aziz isn't as effective.
Hmm.
So now it's another negative on him. Like you were great when you were that change of pace guy that was speed coming off that edge. Now that you have to set an edge and play run defense and all this shit, you're showing your ass
Yep.
again. And you're showing that you want to come out and get this $50 million deal, and that's not what you're playing like. You're playing like a third down rotational piece that can take 10 mil and sit his ass down somewhere until we call you to
Hmm.
put your ears back and get after him, which is fine from the GM standpoint. And I would love that if we brought Aziz back on like a 2 year, $10 million deal, be like, yo, you're our third rotational guy. I'd love that. But a team might sit up here and be like, we need some pass rush. We got to go get the dude. Now you can look at it from the trade deadline standpoint. Teams were interested, but we had a fourth round value on the guy, and teams were offering more than a sixth. That kind of tells
From what I had heard, the
you,
main team involved in that was the Atlanta Falcons, and the Falcons do not have a fifth round pick, which is why there was no compromise in that whatsoever.
no, because we were not giving a sixth round. You're not getting a sixth round. It's like I was okay keeping him if the highest we were going to offer the sixth round pick. I was okay keeping him.
Yeah.
But again, now it shows kind of like what people are thinking of your market value. You're comparable to a sixth round pick, and then you're going to go into free agency, and people are going to be again, like I said, once KT went out, you ain't do much of shit.
Hmm.
You had your 6 sacks as that third rotational piece that can come in and mess offensive lineman up who's more used to power rushing and everything off of KT. And now you come in with speed moves, it's hard to catch up. But now if I'm seeing the speed rush every play, I'm catching up. I'm just stalling on your ass, and now you're ineffective, and
Hmm.
that's just lowering your value. So the Giants need pieces damn near everywhere on defense. You need it. You
Uh,
need edge depth.
I'm
You
I'm
need a
looking
D
at two edges
tackle.
right now.
Well, hold on. You need a D
I'm
tackle that can that
mhm.
you need more than one. You need a D tackle that can start next to Dex, and you need other people that can rep in. So when Dex needs a break, we're not just gashed. Like you need linebacker depth, good linebacker depth. Again, Devin White's a free agent just sitting there. I don't know why we won't bring him in, but at this point, it's kind of a moot point. You need safeties. Now, I feel like we're gonna let Pinnock go after this year because he's just shown his ass. And then you need to find a CB2. Debatably, we need to find a CB1. You
Yeah.
have Belton, who's a decent backup / special teams guy. Newman looks great. Phillips looks great. Banks is inconsistent, has some good plays, but also he's in position, but just cannot make that play on the ball to force a pass breakup that usually into a touchdown, which irks me because you're in position. You're just that half second slow of knocking the ball down. So you got to find there's multiple pieces defensively that we need. That's why I feel it's a little more complex on the defensive side. But what are you
Mhm.
looking at?
Two edge rushers in particular, both of which would be, well, one of which I know would be absolutely tremendous because it also weakens the division rival, and that's Josh Sweat.
Mm,
The other one is an old favorite that Giants fans used to bring up all the time, and you know exactly who I'm talking about, and his name is Chase Young.
mm. I mean,
Because
what?
of the fact, and I'm bringing him up simply because of the fact that he does not have to be the full time starter.
No, he also got like $10 million for 1 year. That's the only thing I'm not crazy over.
Yeah, like I said, I'm more looking at Sweat than actually Chase Young, although Sweat is 2 years older. Um, you pick him up, and or if you potentially convince him to leave the Eagles and come over here, then, like I said, you're not only hurting a division rival, you're strengthening yourself at the same time.
Mhm.
Now, when it comes to the defensive tackles, ugh,
Well, that's why like I want to draft a D tackle. Like I've already
yeah,
looked at the D tackle class a decent amount. And that's why I'm like, if we can go my right now my dream 3 round mock is Cam Ward. I'm looking at the corner from Arizona, Takario McMilton, no, Takario Davis, the corner from
mhm.
Arizona. He's like 6'4". And
I think I
then
saw him the last time I did a mock too.
third round, I want a D tackle. I was looking at Nod Stackhouse, but I don't know if he's going to be there. But there's other dudes. There's Deontay Corleone out of Cincinnati. There's a couple kids. But right now, those are that's like my 1, 2, 3 dream I would do. Like if I can do it, depending on the third round where the board shakes out. But if I can get Cam Davis in third round, I come back and I'm either getting a D tackle or I'm getting an end. Like it's one of those two things that's going to fill another need. Like that's my main thing right now. But QB and corner number one potentially need to be filled. And what killed us was last year, and it showed on freaking uh, Hard Knocks where we sat there. And yes, we got Tyler Newman in the second round, but when we wanted freaking Kool Aid McKinstry, who was sitting on the
Yep.
board 4 picks before us, so we couldn't trade up and get him. And then Shaden didn't want to be like, and then Kamari Lassiter went, we were like, oh, and it's like, bro, trade up.
Make the
Like,
move.
like
You decided to trade up to get Deontay Banks, but when you're somebody else and you traded up one spot for him, like,
and you traded up for him, you traded up for Hyatt, like, but you couldn't trade up for these guys. Like, that's why I didn't understand that. I was like, bro, like, if that's what you want, go get him. Like,
mhm.
you trade, like, again, you traded for Hyatt in the third round. Go get the guy. Like, if you thought, like, I would have loved Kool Aid McKinstry and Deontay Banks. Like, I don't get it. We're willing to make moves for some, but not others. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Makes not a damn bit of sense, man. Like, I don't know.
I
I
don't know.
don't.
You
I
sure
don't.
you sure you don't want to run it back with BJ Hill, Joe?
I mean, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't mind it.
I'm just saying, like, could you deal with Chris Collinsworth bringing him up every 5 seconds again, or whoever the hell that was?
Oh my god. Oh god. Like, I wouldn't mind it. I really wouldn't mind getting BJ Hill back. Like he would help tremendously in the interior, but like I don't know. I don't know. That like I said, I think defensively we have a lot to do. We need another corner, especially now. Like when you look, we let Nick McLeod go, and I'm going to be interested in how that really affects the team going forward because people are taking Dex's comments about the whole uh, our team's not comprehending the message that Dave is trying to give us, and maybe we need another leader. to, you know, give us the message and maybe we'll understand it. And that kind of, to a lot of people, was like, maybe saying we're need to move on from Dave's. People were getting scared that Dex is going to demand a trade because he's tired of rebuilding. Um, I don't know. There's like a lot floating around defensively, but it's like there's a lot that needs to be done. You got to find a corner. You got to figure out D tackle. Like there's got, like you said, you can't be just complete Swiss cheese when Dexter Lawrence needs a break. Like you can't do that.
Yeah.
Edge edge depth needs to be a thing. Linebacker depth, like the drop off, like we were talking about on offense. Now, my main thing is the drop off at line. Andrew Thomas and everybody else is kind of like here,
Mm-hmm.
but that's one position. Because when you look at running backs, it's like, okay, Tracy Singletary, receivers Malik and Wandale, Hyatt, Slayton, like everybody's kind of in the same place there besides the old line. Like the line we get, Andrew Thomas is an all pro. The rest of the line is just solid. Defense is just top heavy. Like, look at the linebacker core. You got Bobby and Micah, and then everybody else is somewhere else. Like the D tackles. You got Dex and everybody else. Like, there's no in between. There's no,
Mm-hmm.
these guys are good. Like that's why I'm saying defense needs a lot of work. And as good as we've been in some statistical categories as far as sacks and third down conversion and stuff like that, like if we could infuse a lot more talent to the defense, it would show a lot more. Like I'd literally
Right.
say, like, well, offense is a QB away from at least being a 500 team. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
not 500, but I think if you have Russ, if you got Tannehill, if you got Justin Fields, I see this team as at least 4-6, maybe 5-5. One one position away on offense, even with Andrew Thomas being out, we're one position away on offense from. I'm not talking about being 7-2. I'm talking about being 4-6, five and
And
five.
that to me isn't even include the other two games that we should have won in Washington and Dallas. Because we honestly should have won both of those games. I'm not even talking about Cincinnati.
No, like that's how I look at it. Like the offense is one person, and unfortunately, it's the most essential. I wish we were a left guard away from being, like I wish that was what
Yeah.
it was. If we just had a left guard, we'd be fucking 6-3. Like I love that. I wish that were it, but we're one position on offense away from being, and unfortunately, it is the most essential. Defense, as middle of the pack we're doing defensively, we need a lot of talent. We need a lot. And that's why I bang the table every day. Like, bring in some of these veterans. Bring in some of these veteran experienced guys. Like, you got Zach Cunningham, you got Devin White. Like, I understand you don't want older corners, but I hate continually going and getting random guys off the street and just from the practice squad of another team and starting them at CB2 every week. Like, I hate it. Like,
Yeah.
but we're still in freaking salary cap hell, which is another reason that we had to freaking cut McLeod. Like, I'm not talking about. I'm not thinking. Not, like, no, McLeod wasn't the end all be all, but like, damn, we had to cut that dude just to get an extra million to make it through the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of being in cap hell. That just pisses me off so much.
You and me both.
Like,
Especially considering the fact that you got other teams out here that can manipulate the cap and always seem like they 30, $40 million under the cap every single season and able to sign free agents and everything. And it's just like that. I don't see how that is possible. And it's partially because of the fact that we haven't had anybody to come in here and actually be like a cap guru, like a capologist type person. But anyway, I need to do my last tour. So
I I gotta go hop in the shower and get ready for work tomorrow myself.
yep.
Uh, Well, and your Giants midseason report, guys. Guys that stuck with us, thanks for watching. Uh, as always, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what your thoughts down below in the comments, and we'll see if we get on next week. It's the Giants bye week, so hopefully we won't lose
Yeah.
that.
Knowing us, Daniel Jones gets sacked 3 times and throw an
Yeah,
interception.
I'm saying we'll find a way to lose on our bye week. Goodness
Yeah.
gracious. Until next, guys, have a good night. And that's all I got.